Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Here we are in Michigan Lake. Here we're waiting for the traffic to cross here. Let's head down to Millennium Park there. We got some green leaves here, so we're just waiting for the last traffic here to cross here. And try to get the Wrigley building here. Here, we'll head down across Lake Street here. Head down Michigan Avenue here. Hey, NATO's guide there, Krista. How you doing there? Let's see here. Ava, how you doing there? Yeah, Chris, how you doing there? Chris was the first. Chris Schultz. NATO's guide was second there. Thanks, Ava and Krista and all the other people. Danny, how you doing there? Prince, how you doing? Yeah, look at the line here. We got a line to Nutella. So, spring's back. The line Nutella's back here. And good to see there. Charles, how you doing there? Yeah. So, we'll walk down to Millennium Park here. We'll go by the lids there. Garrett's Popcorn. Yeah, we got about 55 degrees, I guess. It's about the same temperature as it was this morning. I think it's supposed to be warmer Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday. We might get some rain. Hopefully everybody did okay with the storms last night. Yeah, we'll just run across Randolph there. Julie Reed, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in. It's nice to see green trees. We saw some tulips on Michigan Avenue. There were some tulips blooming on State Street last week. We finally saw some tulips blooming on Michigan Avenue. Not all of them, just a few. Hey, I like those pants there. How you doing there? It's great. So here we'll head across. And we'll head right into Millennium Park here. Got 3 seconds here. Davenport got some rain, yeah. That's good here. Hey, we got the walk here. Let's go. So, NATO's guide. If you want, there's this guy named Nick Koiken. You can follow him. He'll do a night walk. You could. I've been doing this for over 2 years. I have walked at night. I usually like my beauty sleep. Most of what I do is I walk to work. I walk at night. I know you would probably prefer me to walk at night, but TikTok and YouTube does not pay me enough. And I have a day job, and so since I work a 40-hour day job and I walk about 10 miles a day, 7 of those is walking to work, walking home. I do about 3 miles here at lunch. I think you'll excuse me for not walking at night because I'm not like a robot. I'm not here just to do people's bidding. I know you're requesting things, something that you might be interested in. Again, watch Nick Koiken. Kuiken. You could talk to my mods here if you have trouble finding him. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube. I'm not for sure. I know Ken's, KNZ, she streams at night. Nia, not Nia, not the Nia that watches us here. Nia, N-I-A. Nia, her last name's Aisel, A-I-S-E-L. She's a live streamer in Chicago. She streams at night often. There's a lot of other Keys Impact. You can follow this Gemini on YouTube. This Gemini, he does a lot of. There's plenty of other people besides me that can do nighttime watches, and the reason I'm doing this is because people try to manipulate, guilt me, chat box to walk certain places, do certain things. I got over 200 videos from the south and west sides of Chicago. Please check out my reruns. I do walk at night. You can check out the reruns, but I'm probably not going to do it as often as you like. And again, this city, there is crime. If you stay off the streets between midnight and 5 a.m., that's most of what happens. Somebody was randomly shot just blocks away from where I lived last week. So, people always say I'm going to get shot. Maybe today will be the day. It'll be great. They'll be like, see, look, we told you would get shot there. There's the L train heading across here. Hey, look at the beautiful, this is what we want to see. We got the spring flowers here. We got the daffodils, tulips are trying to come out. We'll see if the sun pops out. This would all look so much nicer. It's so cloudy here, but here we'll head up to the bean here. Thanks, Christopher. No, I know Christopher. You know, you get the same thing. You know, Christopher is a great live streamer in New York. Follow Christopher Dotson there. You get the same thing no matter where you go. If you go to Queens, someone will say go to the Bronx. If you go to the Bronx, someone will say go to, you know, Broadway there in Manhattan. If you go to Coney Island in Brooklyn, someone will say, oh, go to Rockaway Beach. You know, and I get it too, you know. And usually most, you know, people are just expressing what they want to see. I understand that. I read way too much into people's comments. And it's mainly because I dealt with so many bots and trolls at the beginning. My mods helped me out so much. And we don't have to worry about it as much as we used to. And hey, thanks for tuning in here. Here, we'll head over to the Great Bean of Chicago here. Yeah, look at it. We've got a good crowd here. There it is. There's the Great Bean of Chicago. Thanks for tuning in there. So we didn't get to this morning because I just went to work here, but there, Casa Bonita there. They had some people sitting out there having a drink last week. Yeah, happiness is the bean here. Look at that. I'm just happy there's still people that every day people come out here. Not only people from Chicago, people from all over the world gather here to take a photo here and take a little stop here to go to Millennium Park. Check out this public sculpture. Yeah, the sky drama there. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, that's why. And a lot of people, there's some people that tune in here, Karen and everybody else. Yeah, they don't understand that we got the TikTok in the morning, TikTok at night. I'm on YouTube mainly because TikTok can ban us at any time for any reason, and we don't know if TikTok's going to be here as a platform. I personally don't mind YouTube as a platform. It's just TikTok really pushes the live streams more, and I have 87,000 people that follow me on TikTok with subscribers and moderators and stuff, and so we do this YouTube at lunch because I got to have a presence on YouTube. We use this as a backup often. If TikTok goes down, which has happened before, we could switch right over here to TikTok and keep stream, or YouTube and keep streaming. See, I'm flipping the platforms in my brain. My brain leaks. But hey, they got the music here. They got the. Let's check out the. Hey, look, they got people having a picnic there. Look at that. Yeah. So here's the Double Clutch Brewing Company. They got it all set up here. They're piping in the music. Yeah, that sounds great. So here we'll head around here. We'll check out the daffodils here. Let's go over to the Lurie Gardens here. We'll see if we can. Hey, look at that beautiful picture here with the spring trees. Yeah, look at this. Hey, Mia, Dolores, Michael. Yeah, Ernesto. Thanks everybody there. Yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in there. No, that's great, NATO. Thanks. Yeah, you know, I know you probably didn't realize that we don't just do this on YouTube, we're also on TikTok, which is fine. Same with TikTok. A lot of people on TikTok don't know this YouTube exists, even though we talk about it all the time. Hey, here's the sun coming out. Hey, this is going to really help out here if the sun comes out. There's a little gap in the sun there. There's that little bit of clouds. That's how long it lasted there. It was just a little hole in the clouds. So just for a brief second there, we got the sun. Here's the Great Bean of Chicago. These trees look great here. We got all the spring and summer ahead of us here. Let's head over to the Lurie Gardens here. We'll see if we see some flowers. Let's see if it's open. They were working on it. And yeah. Ernesto, Dolores, my name is. So that's looking down. Is this Madison Street? Yeah, this is Madison Street. See, they're still working on the band shell here. I guess they got a few. They're going to work on the speakers there. Lorene, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, appreciate it. Hope you had a good Easter there, and I just stayed here. I think my dad just stayed. I think he went over to Debbie's. Nothing big there. He was thinking about coming to Chicago, but he was working too much in his garden, and it affected his back there. He had an achy back there, so he didn't feel like sitting in the car. I don't blame him. So I should have came back there, but I'll go back to visit your old dad there later this spring, maybe around Memorial Day. We'll check it out there. But thanks for tuning in here. So yeah, we went by. See, the trees are starting to bloom here in Millennium Park. We went by the bean there. So if you missed it there, you can rewind it. Let's go through the magic hedge here. Let's see if it's open. There's usually a lot of nice flowers here. Look at that guy. He's on the little soil tank there. So yeah, that air, you got the soil in there, and I don't know if it aerates the soil, whatever it does. Yeah, those people came out of there, so let's wait. Let's go in here. So there, the Lurie Gardens here, it's open. Yeah, we'll see if they got any spring flowers here. Got some daffodils, some people sitting there on the bench there. You see how you can look all the way over to the modern wing of the Art Institute there. Here we got some nice, what are these, daffodils? What are these? Some type of flowers here. But again, this is a green roof. There's parking underneath here. Even though this looks like the ground, it's not the ground. It's a roof garden here. Look how beautiful it seamlessly fits within the park here, because you can't even tell there's a parking garage underneath there. They did a good job. Yeah, this is probably more manicured because it's Millennium Park. This is probably one of the showpiece parks we have downtown here. A lot of tourism, especially for the bean. See how you can see the Sears Tower there. You can look back to the skyline here. You got some benches and stuff. And if you head up here, see, they're working on it. I guess they're digging some. Let's see what they're doing here. This is supposed to be a canal-like feature that, you know, references the canal in Chicago and Chicago's industrial past. Here's some, see there, they got a little backhoe here. They're working on it here, but this is the Lurie Gardens here, part of Millennium Park. You see how it's behind this hedge, south of the Pritzker Bandshell. And all throughout the spring and the summer and the fall, there's naturalistic plantings here. And they got this side area here, they're working on it. They haven't turned Buckingham Fountain on. They'll usually turn it on in May. Usually there's a ceremony where they turn on the fountain, usually on a weekend. Past, we've hit that usually on a Saturday. We ride a bike down, and weather permitting, usually there's bands and performers and things like that. But here's the tulips and the flowers here. Lurie Gardens here. Look how nice it looks there, looking back towards the Art Institute. So here, let's tootle around here. Let's just cross the, we'll cross the BP Bridge since we're over here. We'll bounce around Lakeshore East. We may get over to the Chicago River here. Yeah, it's a paradise, Karen. It's a, you know, it was laughable for years. The city's motto in Latin, on, you know, you see it on the flag, and then the state seal was Urbs in Ordero, which is Latin for city in a garden. And most people, when they thought of Chicago, they did not think of a city in a garden. They thought a city in an industrial wasteland or a concrete jungle, or, you know, and starting with Richard M. Daley II, the son of Richard J. Daley. He really made an effort to do a lot of plantings, and Millennium Park was added after that. And so they you know, just like hanging baskets on the streets, planting flowers along Lakeshore Drive, things like that. But recently the budget has been cut back. There was a bigger budget, probably around 2000, when the city had those one lump windfalls from selling off the parking meters and everything else. Now the money's gone. Now the money's gone. So we'll see if it continues. But here we'll head past the trees are turning green here. There's the Aeon there. There you can see the bean. There's a great bean of Chicago across the way there. Hey Dolores, Mia, how you doing there? Naya's tuning in, that's good. And really Julie Reed, thanks Michael for being on. Hubert's tuning in there, that's good. Yeah, Lorene there. Let's see what you said there. Hold on. I missed some stuff here. Keeps moving around there. Oh, coming in Chicago in June. Yeah, Lorraine, I just saw that. So yeah, if you come in June, let us know. Let me know. We can get together for lunch or dinner there. No problem there. Let me know if you guys are going to be in town in June. That's a good month there. The only thing is, a lot of times my father and I take a trip to Texas in June, and I'll let you know when that is. Usually Melissa, when the kids get out of school, of course, Melissa's a teacher the last few years. We've been going down to Texas in June. But if it's the beginning or the end of the month, I'll be around. Usually the middle of June is when we're in Texas. But we'll see if that keeps going forward there. But hey, thanks for letting me know there, and everybody else there. Thanks for tuning in here. We'll head over the BP bridge here. We got green trees, 55 degrees, not too bad, 1221. And there's people in the Pritzker Pavilion there. We can look back to the bean there. Yeah, many green rooftops. People didn't think it was possible to do green rooftops. Now that's actually part of the zoning code. They have incentives if you have green roofs, and the actual city hall has a green roof. And yeah, I saw that, Chris. There's a good comment there. See, it shows you got to do it. And hey, there it is, Aeon Blue Cross Blue Shield. That area to the left. Okay, this area to my left, this is all called Lakeshore East. It's built on air rights. It used to be giant rail yards that came through here. A lot of that was removed. And there's still Millennium Station. You see how Columbus, there's an upper level, middle, there's actually a lower level. We have the raised streets. The air rights are not just for the buildings. Also, the streets were raised, multiple level streets. It's called Lakeshore East. That's all called Millennium Park. Yeah, I don't know if that's what you were talking about. That's all Millennium Park there with the bean. This is a pedestrian walkway that gets you across Columbus, that connects Millennium Park, which was added 2000 to 2004. Michigan Avenue area over here to Maggie Daley Park. You see how they got putt-putt golf. They got some more activities. They have a ice skating ribbon over here, but in the summertime it becomes a inline skating scooter kind of area on concrete. We're walking along this pedestrian walkway here. They call it the BP bridge there. Does that make sense there? Yeah, how's it going there? Hopefully I explained what you were asking about there. Sometimes I don't see the comments right away, but thanks for tuning in here. Welcome to Chicago here. Yeah, we'll head by the, see if anybody's actually using this thing. We'll see if the sun comes back out for a second here. That would be nice. Hey, they're mowing the grass. They're mowing the grass over there. It's time to mow the grass already. Talking about the band show? Okay, yeah, thanks, Julie. So yeah, see, that giant band show was designed by Frank Gehry. Frank Gehry, of course, is a world-renowned architect. If this looks familiar, if you saw the Balbo Museum in Spain or the Disney Museum in LA, this titanium stainless steel type cladding that you see here, and that's where, and they have all that trellis for the speakers there that they're working on. That's why there was a bunch of tarps there. They're working on it. So there's a big playground area over here. Yeah, let's check out this playground area here. I'm not going to go in there because there's people with families and kids. I just want to show you what it looks like. This is free. Maggie Daley, who was the wife of Richard M. Daley, the second Mayor Daley of Chicago, there she passed away of cancer 15 years ago or 10 years ago, whenever it was. She wanted a free playground here for the kids to be able to play in, and that's what the ice skating rink is a part of that. But they got big slides here, and they got swings and water features in the summertime. It's pretty popular. And yeah, it's a concert stage. Yeah, NATO's guide here. Yeah. It's the Pritzker Band Show is a giant stage. I got videos from last summer where the symphony played there. We sat in the chairs there and listened to the symphony. And they have concerts and events, and sometimes they show movies in the park there. Here's this giant playground. They got a big playground area. They got swings over here, and here's like a ship, and they got slides and things here. Yeah, I take all these things for granted. I realize that new people are tuning in. You might not have seen that before, and regulars know we walk by it all the time. They're like, stop showing the Pritzker Pavilion. We've seen it too many times. There's the whale. You can sit in the mouth of the whale there, play in the playground here. Hey, the sun's coming out. Look at that. Yeah, let's head over towards the lake here. We'll go by the Cancer Survivors Park here. So now we're in Maggie Daley Park, part of Grant Park here, the northern end. Yeah, live classical music for free. They have concerts in the park in the summertime. It's a great way to hear concerts for free. Also, there's Ravinia. Chris knows about Ravinia there on the North Shore there. You can take the Metro. See, there's giant slides. That's a giant slide. You go up there and you go in that tube and slide down. There's big giant slides. There's picnic areas over here, play garden entrance over here. Hey, we got some ornamental trees here. Flowers are probably looking nice here. We'll head up into Lakeshore East here. Here, the upside down trees. Look at that. Yeah, futuristic acoustics. Acoustic hookah. Hey, they got the upside down trees here. You could sit in the picnic area here. There, you got big giant slides over here. We'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, you can go to Buckingham Fountain. See, traffic's waiting for the light to change there on Lakeshore Drive. I'll just show you this. There's a nice suspension bridge and some slides. There, you can play on the big rock there. And I won't stay in here too long here. Enchanted Forest to all ages here. There you go through the Enchanted Forest here. Look at these giant slides here they got. I've walked across this. They really don't want big people like me walking across this bridge here, but look, she's running across there. They got a suspension bridge. You got the crazy circles there. They got all these slides here. Look at this nice play area they got here. Yeah, you got a big suspension bridge here you can run across. And you got the whole skyline there behind you there. Look at that. What a nice place for a giant playground here, right in the heart of Grant Park here. So here we'll head over to the Cancer Survivors Park. Yeah, it's like the Tower Bridge. You see that? Towers of London there. Yeah, London Bridge is falling down. We used to sing that nursery rhyme there. Ashes, ashes, they all fall down. That goes back to like the bubonic plague, I think. I don't know, or the Great Fire of London. But here, we'll head up here to the Cancer Survivors Park here. It's a nice big playground here. Hey, we got the purple trees here. Nice to see some signs of spring here. We got 1229. Hey, you got portalettes. At least there's some place to use the restroom over here. Yeah, we'll head up towards this Genie Gang, St. Regis. Hey, there's a bird. Seeing some nice migratory birds. The red-tipped blackbirds are back. We'll see if the herons come back. There you look back to the skyline there through the trees. Oh, Pizza Lisa. So Nick's live right there. So Nick's live in Lakeshore East. We might run into Nick because that's where I'm heading. So I'm heading. Let's see if we can find Nick in Lakeshore East. Yeah, so we got all these other Chicago live streamers. That's great. Look at that view. Thanks, Pizza Lisa. So yeah, Nick's been doing some late night streams there. If you're looking for some nighttime streams, check out Nick Kuiken, Kuiken. Am I saying his name right there? And here we'll head into. I don't know if Ken's Kenz. I don't know if he streams at night either. I know You Should Eat. She was teaming up with Nick there for a while. I don't know if they're still doing it. And I know I've seen Nia stream at night. AISEL. That's her last name. Nia Hazel. So here we'll head up to the Cancer Survivors Garden. We'll see if we can find Nick up here. Nick gave me some good information. So, Chris, you know how Jen was talking about the Walgreens there at North Avenue? They wanted to build a 40-story high-rise. Many people in Old Town were against it. Understandably, it's going to affect their views and not in my backyard, all that stuff. Well, I think the zoning just approved it for 36 stories, so they scaled it back a little bit. They still want to put a Walgreens at the bottom, but I don't know if they're still going to redo the Treasure Island that was supposed to be part of the larger deal. And I know Moody Bible Institute, or Moody Church was involved somehow, and I don't know that, but maybe if we catch Nick there, we can ask him. Nick sent me an article about it. I can't wait to talk to You Should Eat about it because it affects her much more than it affects me. The new high-rise residential tower was approved there for Wells Street at North Avenue. It'll be the biggest development in that area built in a long time if it goes forward. But here, look at the nice view straight up to the St. Regis here. Hey, Lorraine, how you doing there? Pizza Lisa, Michael, Mia. Yeah. Nick's at the lakefront going towards Navy Pier. So, yeah, he's probably heading over to Navy Pier there. He's probably going by the 400 North Lakeshore. We'll get by the 400 North Lakeshore. Someone was looking at a different video of mine. They were like, update on 400 Lakeshore, please. I was like, yes, be patient. We'll get by there. Thanks for, I guess there's interest. That's why we walk by that site maybe once or twice a week. I got to keep posting the reruns until people get tired of it, like the Harry Potter. But hey, look at this. Yeah, see, here's Lakeshore Drive used to go straight up to here. Now it's the Cancer Survivors Park. We got some daffodils here. It's nice to see green trees though, isn't it? Signs of spring. Yeah, look at that. Hey, Ernesto, that's what you do. Yeah, you do the split screen. Yeah, thanks for watching two Chicago live streamers at the same time there. It's good. Yeah, did anybody film the protest on Saturday? I didn't get downtown. I was too lazy to motivate myself. You know, I would have filmed them. I know it angers. I got audience on both sides, all sides of the political spectrum. But, you know, we show the world as it is, not as we want it to be. The stock market's down 1,000 points there, so it's directly related to the trade war. So this is real stuff with real consequences we're playing with here. So we'll see how it plays out. Here's the Randolph Street here. We'll head down to Lakeshore East. You see how the stacked cities, there's the middle level of Randolph. We're on the upper level here. They call this Field Boulevard. I didn't know this. We'll head across here. Got some wind. It was really windy. There's this nice view. You get to the Loop of Chicago. There's the Sears Tower right there. Tallest building in Chicago. It's about a mile from us here. We'll head down to the Lakeshore. That's about the third or fourth tallest building in Chicago, probably the fourth or fifth. Somewhere in there. Yeah, the blue and silver. You see that big dome there? There's a pool in there. There's a pool inside that dome for this dome here. high-rise residential development here. Head down to Lakeshore East here, see if we see some tulips or something. Yeah, so this one is actually named the Aqua, and named after water. Jeannie Gang designed this first, and it's supposed to be like, yeah, water's flowing down. And then this is called it was originally called the Wanda Vista. Now it's called the St. Regis. It has the hotel, a St. Regis Hotel, but it's also residential condo buildings. And yeah, see how it's reflecting the clouds, the undulating reflection of the sky is really nice there. Yeah, it's like a waterfall. And Jeannie Gang's the architect of both of these buildings. But you see how much other residential was built over the last decade or so in this area. This is called Lakeshore East. I remember when this was a three-hole golf course. It was a driving range. Now they got a playground down here, and they'll turn on these fountains here. There's a nice dog park. There's a grocery store. There's a Greek restaurant right there, Alvely on the park there. There's the Aeon building there. But here we'll head right down. Well, let's see. There's the dog park. Yeah, let's head over here. We'll head over to the lake. Yeah, let's walk by these buildings here. So they made these purposely like human scale here, so it's supposed to, so it wasn't all the high rises going right down to the park, that there was some little terracing with the scale. Yeah, the other one's called the Aqua. That one's called the Aqua. That's called the Aqua. That's the St. Regis. Thanks for explaining that there. That's good. We're here. We're heading over. I'll stay down below here. We'll head underneath where the parking garage. Last week we went above. I walked all the way up to the stairs. This time we'll stay below, and we'll pop out by Dusable Harbor, and then we'll walk by the 400 North Lake View. But I think I'll stay. I won't go across the river there. We got 12:37. Well, we'll see how much time we got here. But here you see these people's doors directly front the park here. We got some townhome type development here with Lakeshore East. So it feels like this park's in a hole. It's because it's surrounded by multiple layered stacked streets with parking, and you see how the parking is above, and they have a street above there. So it feels like this whole thing is sunken, but it's actually the real level of the ground, and everything else is raised. See exactly this. There's parking underneath these buildings. We can walk right underneath here, and then we'll pop out underneath Lakeshore Drive. Check out the lake here. Yeah, Skyrise Canyon cliff dwellers. See how you can look underneath these buildings here. There's parking this way, and there's actually a park above us. There's a park above us, and when you're in that park, you can't tell that you're like above up here. Look at that. Hey, there's a nice dog here. We're down here with the pigeons. And see, they got a bike path here. You can go right over to the lakefront bike path. We've done this before too. Skyrise Canyon. My streaming okay? Did I cut out there? Sometimes I lose my connection. See, that connects to the parking garage there. There's a park above us. You'll be able to see it here once we get beyond it. And see, 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of parking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels of parking. 5 levels of parking there. 4 or 5, depending on how you. Hey, see what's up at the pups there. Pups Pet Club here, daycare. Feel the wag, yeah. There's the security. Clear stream, good. Stream clear the rear. Thanks for the feedback there. How's everybody doing here? Welcome to Chicago. We got Wednesday. No, Monday. See, I can't even tell what day it is. It's Monday. I said Wednesday. Was it April the 21st? Day after Easter. Cascade Bark. There's the Cascade Bark there. They got a dog park. See, you see how we were there's a park that terraces down there, and it's cantilevered over that street. T-E-N-E-T, Tenet. Yeah. There's the Boho Bouquet Bar. You go to the Boho Bouquet Bar. So this is underneath Dusable Lakeshore Drive. There's the highway that gets you around here. We're heading towards Lake Michigan, so there's a reason I'm going this way. We'll be able to walk in along the Chicago River there, and we'll have views of Streeterville. So if you probably it sounds like Nick's heading towards Navy Pier, so maybe if you want to check out Nick's stream there. Is he on TikTok or YouTube? He's probably on TikTok. Hey, thanks for tuning in here. We're on YouTube. We're heading underneath the bike path here. And there's more boats in the harbor. That's what we want to see. Boats are slowly returning to the harbor. This Wednesday probably will be our first chance to see the bridge lift. So hopefully I'll be able to stream at lunchtime here on YouTube, and we can either do it on YouTube or TikTok. We'll talk about it, because I'll probably do it in the portrait format here either way, whether we do it on YouTube or TikTok. We'll probably do it on YouTube because I want to reward the YouTube audience here for being loyal followers here at lunchtime on. But let me know if you got a preference there. And here's Dusable Harbor. We got some boats here. There's Navy Pier across the way. Maybe Nick's heading over there. There's the Ferris wheel. We got some sailboats in the harbor. We got some pleasure craft. We got another boating season ahead of us here at Dusable Harbor. And you can look all the way back to the Columbia Yacht Club there. And then they'll open this up later. They got a nice outdoor cafe here. Yeah, I could show the horizon. I feel like you're treating me like a robot, NATO. I mean, like what? Am I just like an avatar? I know that this is what you want to see. Here, I'll zoom into there's a lighthouse there. So there's a lighthouse, and this is, see, we're going by this gate. There's a gate to the, so there we go. So look, in the foreground, there's a harbor, Chicago Harbor's crane here, and if I zoom in, there's the through the windshield there's the lighthouse. So the lighthouse, that's the horizon of Lake Michigan, so that's looking towards Michigan. It's there's a break wall there, so see, there's a gap there. That's the opening into Monroe Harbor, and there's the gap, and there's the lighthouse that protects this whole harbor. And a bunch of light sailboats are over there. Here, this is called the Coast Guard Station. There's a Coast Guard Station right here, and then there's the actual locks of the Chicago River there. No, I understand there, NATO. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, you're just giving me suggestions of what you want to see there. I appreciate it. Thanks for being a good audience here. You're not a troll. I appreciate it. Here's look at the that's the 400 North Lake Shore development there. And I know you probably just wanted to see the lake there. You wanted to see you can look back to the Columbia Yacht Club here. And this is, I'll pan here, this is Dusable Harbor here. And it's hard to see the horizon because of these break walls. See, there's the horizon there. You see how it's a different color water? That's the open water of Lake Michigan beyond the break wall there. You got some massive pumps here, but there's the 400 North Lakeshore development. There's I think they've probably, because of the tariffs, they probably are holding off on the starting construction of the second tower. See, look, people are going to have to make decisions on whether to go for it on stuff or not, and that's what, it just brings so much uncertainty to the markets here. But here's Navy Pier. This is the mouth of the Chicago River. So this is not Lake Michigan. This is the mouth of the Chicago River. This is a little lower than the lake. There's Anita D there. Henry, how you doing there? Yeah, Mary Therese, how you doing there? Yeah, Michael Rodriguez. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, better late than never. No, it's okay. Come as you are. I know people got other stuff to do. There's no expectations here. Come, easy go. There's Lake Point Tower. Yeah, I hope you have a good Easter there. There's the Navy Pier, the Ferris wheel. Going by the Anita D. You can see the whole Navy Pier there, all the ships there. That's the Sable Hotel. And there's the Civil Engineering Monument here, Monument of the Millennium. Hey, they Anita D2, they parked this giant lake-going dinner cruise ship. They parked it way in here. They usually don't park this way in here. They usually keep these out there with those other ships. I guess they got the Anita D2 here. Hey, me and Mary and Michael Anderson there. Yeah, how was your Easter there? I had a nice easy Easter there. I didn't go anywhere there. I was gonna have visit with family coming up here, but it didn't work out, so I'll catch him on Memorial Day there. Easter's not a big deal for me. I appreciate everybody. I know it's a big holiday on the calendar there. Both Greek Orthodox and regular Easter fell on the same day this month, or April the 20th there, which is very unique. And here's the Chicago Riverwalk. We'll head underneath here, and then we'll just head back along the Riverwalk. We got 1247 here. We'll head right back to Michigan Avenue. So I won't cross the bridge there. A lot of times last week we crossed the bridge. We checked out. We count the stories there. They're up to 16 or 17 stories now on the 400 Lakeshore. I think 17 stories is the last thing we count. There's the Great Chicago Fire. They got all these little mosaics here. See, it shows how there's the water tower, there's the pump house, and they dug a tunnel underneath 2 miles out to the water intake crib there, and it forced by gravity up into the water tower and pushed the water up so it could filter it out, and that's the water tower. It's essentially how the water tower works. Great water tower that we always walk by there. Alvin, how you doing there? There's the old bridge. There's the old Fort Dearborn there. Look at that. There, the old French voyagers. Flora and fauna there. Here comes a boat here. We'll catch this boat going by. I lost you? Yeah. So we were talking about the water tower there. There's a mosaic on the side there. They dug a back in the the river used to flow into the lake, and it would pollute the Lake Michigan, because it was their drinking source back in the 1800s. So before they reversed the Chicago River, at first they dug tunnels 2 miles out to water intake cribs, because they thought the water was fresher out there, and then gravity would drive it into the water tower so they could pump it through the early pipe water system they had there before the Great Chicago Fire, and that's what the water tower was. Hey, here's the Shoreline Evening Star here, heading right by the 400 North Lakeview, 400 North Lakeshore development site there. I said it wrong. There it is. Look at that. Heading under the Dusable Lakeshore Dry Bridge there. Look at that. And you can walk up there. We walked up to the top there. They got it open for some reason. Hey, these trees are turning green. We'll go by Taco Rio. Hopefully they opened this Taco Rio. There's the St. Regis there. It looks really nice from this side. You can look back to the Trump Tower there. And there's Streeterville all that way. Yeah, the crazy tunnel idea. Yeah, it's still used kind of more or less. They don't use all the water intake cribs, but they use some of them. And there's the Jardine water plant, and then there's the Southwork site down there by Rainbow Beach down there on the south side. There's 2 large water filtration systems here in Chicago. And we got a freshwater drinking source here. There, look at all the towers here in Streeterville. Chicago River here. There, let's head by Taco Rio. Urban Kayaks, yeah, they're getting it ready. Hey, they're painting the bar there. They're getting ready for another season here at Taco Rio. Here, I can't wait till this thing opens. People sitting here along the Riverwalk here, watching this building go up. Hey, Danny, does that make sense? Does it make sense? Yeah, I know sometimes you're like, what is this guy talking about? You know, I gotta explain the whole thing there. So it's, you know, Chicago's a confusing city here. We got rivers that flow backwards and streets below the streets and deep tunnels and all kinds of weird things. Taco Rio, Urban Cantina here, Chicago Riverwalk. Hey, look at that St. Regis there. Hey, the giant dandelion puff there. Yeah, have a good one. See you, Julie, there. No alcohol consumption beyond this point. There's where they, Urban Kayaks here, they put people on the grandstands there, give them the safety lesson. Afternoon, Rob on the road, how you doing here? Yeah, we're over by the Chicago Riverwalk here. Got about 55 degrees, not too bad. It's supposed to be warmer later this week. Yeah, we'll hope we'll get a, hopefully they'll lift these bridges, these Basquiat bridges, Wednesdays and Saturdays this time of the year, April, May, end of April, all of May, into June, they lift the bridges, lift the sailboats into the harbor for the summer sailing season there. And we already seen some sailboats in the Dusable harbor there. Hey, there's the kayaks, look at that. All the kayaks there, getting ready. Streeterville, sitting here. What's this say here? Yeah, there's like a playground over here. You see the 3 levels of Wacker Drive, lower, middle, and upper. The lower level, that's where they tow your car there. They got this spongy material here for the jungle gym here. You can climb around on this. There you can look up, there's this Century Fountain there. Centennial Fountain, that's what they call it, the Centennial Fountain. Hopefully they'll turn that on there. They got it working last year. Yeah, we're doing good there, Rob, on the road there. How's everybody else there? Yeah, we walked over to the bean there. No big deal here, just easy Monday. Yeah, the submarines built in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. They built all these submarines, and then they sailed them through Chicago down the Illinois Ship and Sanitary Canal down to Illinois to the Mississippi, out through the Panama Canal, because they were built in Manitowoc instead of going out to St. Lawrence, because at that time the St. Lawrence Seaway wasn't completed. They didn't complete that to the 50s. And so a lot of submarines that were used in World War II sailed through here. 1941, that's what that commemorates after Pearl Harbor. A lot of history passed through these canals here, these waterways. Yeah, living in a van down by the river there. We'll look for Chris Farley. Maybe he's down here. He did live in Chicago. He lived in the Giant Hancock. Oh, I gotta call Danny back. I think I missed a call from Dan there. Sorry, Dan. And he probably was gonna tell me about some safety stuff, which is good. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Let's head across here. There's the Sheridan Hotel. Look up in the Streeterville here. Columbus Drive. We'll go by the Island Party Hut. I'm really hoping we turn the corner here. It looks like the weather's not too bad this week. We got a chance of rain, but it's normal springtime. We'll see some 70s and 60s. You know, it'll get down to the 30s and 40s at night, but that's no big deal. Doesn't last long. Hey, all right, Island Party Hut, you can rent these boats. See, they got the slide in the back there. Big kahuna. Yeah, look at that shark there. Got the big chair. So 12:56. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'll get you up the stairs here. We'll go up to the top of Columbus, and then I'll sign off because I'm going to stop and pick up some food on the way back here. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thanks to my mods there. And so we'll be back on TikTok tonight, and we'll just walk home from work. No big deal. We'll see what the weather is. And there's the big bus tours here. See, we'll go up these stairs here. And once I get to the top, I'll show you the view there, and then we'll call it a day here. Hey, see, there's the lowest level of 3 levels of Whacker Drive here. So Wednesday is the big day. If you want to watch on Wednesday, I'll keep you an update weather-wise to make sure they're going to be doing the bridge lift. They lift the sail, so we might stream longer than usual on Wednesday. I'll probably do it on YouTube, and then we can transfer the footage over to TikTok later. And every Wednesday and Saturday this time of year, they lift these bascule drawbridges and let the sailboats in. It's usually a picturesque opportunity to get some good footage of sailboats going through these bridges and get them in the upright position with the skyline. And you can see reruns from past year. We filmed it for both the South Branch and the main channel. There's the Riverview large barge heading through here. Yeah, let's get these boats going by here. We got some river traffic here. Main branch of the Chicago River here. Yeah, look at that. Thanks, Krista. Thanks, Sharon. Ernesto, Mia, D. Michael, all the Michaels. Thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, look at the nice view here. Thanks, Dolores, Krista, Danny. Thanks, everybody else there. Alvin, appreciate it. Rob on the road there. NATO, thanks, everybody there. Yeah, I appreciate it there. Christopher, thanks for being on. Thanks, Michael, D. Michael, and Michael Anderson, Dolores, Mia, Ernesto. Thanks, everybody. Okay, we'll catch you later there, Sharon, and everybody else. Have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Look at this nice view. You get to the Wrigley building, up to the Trump Tower here. What a nice vista. And we'll do it again tomorrow there. We'll see if the weather's a little better tomorrow there. See you, Christopher. Lorraine, see you later. Mary Therese, see you at 5 there. Yeah, thanks a lot. All right. That's all she wrote.